after their graduation from the program, they can apply to different, internal opportunities within Zain, and with, of course, sister companies and partners as well. So this is, a glimpse of what we do under diversity and inclusion. And I believe we need more programs like that across the region, and not just, in the field of technology. Okay, so I tend to go on and on, so I'm going to be very mindful of the time. And I'm going to take you just through an overview and not go into details. I'll keep that to the Q&A. One of our programs that I feel is very important to us is Ahl al-Himma. And Ahl al-Himma is more of a humanitarian initiative where we have employees volunteer to help and support, provide help and support in marginalized communities. And I really believe that whatever we want, whatever messages we're sending externally, we need to really be adopting and implementing internally to be more, honest. As a brand, you need to have very strong brand ambassadors and brand champions. And I believe this is what we are doing with programs similar to Ahl al-Himma. When it comes to our youth programs, we have so many youth programs. One of them is Generation Z, and this focuses on, bringing in youth to internship opportunities, paid internship opportunities, because at the end of the day, we need to think about, how our interns are able to come to work and, accommodate themselves without having to worry about expenses as well, right? And they go into the company and they go through different divisions, and in each division and in each function, they take a different scope of work. They tend to work on implementation as well. So depending on the program, because we have different internship opportunities under the Zain Youth umbrella, it could range from 3 months to a whole year, where people can really, get experience firsthand, and not just, when they go into an interview, they can talk about their actual experiences versus what they have studied in university, for example. And this is all about the chicken or the egg dilemma when it comes to fresh graduates going into interviews and interviewers asking them, do you have the experience? Do you have what it takes? What do you know about this or that, etc. So we try to fill that gap with providing youth with the right trainings and the right mentorship and the right knowledge and skill set for them to be able to access the workforce. Focusing on people with disabilities as well is very important for us. Currently, we have around 18 employees with disability, and they are stars each in their own field. They are able, because the company is accommodating also in terms of making sure that the company is accessible in all its different features, and so that people are able to access the workplace. So removing these boundaries, lowering these walls that people with disabilities face when they're trying to find employment, and this is what we're trying to do also, not just providing employment opportunities, but also providing learning opportunities for them, especially in the fields of technology, because at the end of the day, also trying to focus on what kind of jobs PWDs can have working from home, for example, if that is an option for them. So providing them with digital experiences and digital learning in order for them to be able to access the workforce, not just at Zain, but also within the employment labor force or ecosystem as well. So our Zain, this is more about our Zain Youth strategy and how we do it. We focus a lot on entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship as well. So entrepreneurship is providing learning and collaborating with different players in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, so that we are able to explore entrepreneurship as an option for job creation, for skills and capacity building. And because at the end of the day, this eventually leads to helping the economy and boosting the economy through the startups and, engaging with them and working with them. Zain Iraq has established a Zain Innovation Campus as well, where we have a lot of our events and activities happen through the Zain Innovation Campus. We have a startup award, and we partner with different entities like the station, for example, which is the main ecosystem player in Iraq and the entrepreneurial incubator for entrepreneurs and top talents. We have a lot of different sponsorship opportunities, but at the end of the day, it's also about taking that into consideration when we are procuring, for example. So part of our procurement focuses on working with startups and offering them different opportunities to be able to sell their products to a wider audience and give them business in return. So we believe in that as well. So working with youth, working with startups, extremely important for any organization to be able to support and help achieve the SDGs. This is part of our, KPIs when it comes to how many people have benefited from our initiatives and interventions working with youth. We work a lot with universities. We support the different communities through different sponsorship activities. And of course, it happens across Iraq. And this, you need to take into consideration that it's also happening on a group level as well. So imagine the impact. You can read more about it. Same Group publishes an annual report on its sustainability activities as well. So you are able to go into our website and read more about the impact that Zain is creating on a group level. These are a sample of our activities, always engaging, always trying to create value, always trying to leave impact, I believe is extremely important. We do a lot of summer training programs, and at the end of the summer training program, we do a startup pitch competition where the students are able to pitch, certain concepts or ideas, and we try to help them deliver on these ideas and try to help them turn them into actual businesses, revenue making businesses as well. We have a DNA scholarship and of course, graphic design courses, because when you look at the jobs that are needed for the future, a lot of them are design related. Now we're looking at artificial intelligence as well, especially when it comes to training developers more into AI technologies with everything that's happening, around the world. I'm sure you've heard, for example, ChatGPT is one of the tools that will cause a revolution in the way people are learning and working, etc. We do a lot of awareness sessions as well. So one of the sessions that we've done was for school kids, where we talked more about the impact of bullying and how to be more self-aware and how to make sure that if one of the kids sees it happening, if it's not to them, if it's to someone, what are the steps that they need to take? And we're expanding more into that throughout this year, hopefully, because we believe with everything happening on social media, there is some sort of a subculture that is being built when it comes to bullying, and we want to be able to, stop that. It's not healthy for anyone, actually. Internet of Things training, especially for kids. Again, a lot of the things that we do, coding programs. And when it comes to gender diversity, this is the Women in Tech program that I just explained about, and the steps that we take in this program and what we do. This is the impact for the first program that was done this year, and for 2023, the impact is going to be much bigger because we're going to be pushing more across the governorates on this program because of the impact that we have seen actually happen. We work with different entities, as I mentioned, the French Embassy and the station in Raidat program. We support women entrepreneurs and sponsoring their businesses, giving them a pre-seed investment for them to be able to grow their business. We do a lot of workshops for girls in ICT as well. When it comes to climate change, again, working on awareness and making sure that we do major campaigns when it comes to the importance of climate change and what's happening, especially as Iraq is one of the countries that was hit really strongly, like the dust storms that are happening, very dangerous, and we need to create the right awareness so people can try to change certain behaviors and the change happens on an individual level. Creating different initiatives also internally, shredder machines, allowing people to think of the impact that they're leaving on an individual level, more green spaces, more awareness across. So we stopped printing and we're doing everything in terms of digital, right? Trying to limit also paper consumptions and stuff like that, even in our production lines.
عذرا عن المقاطعة، بس إذا في دقيقة بس تختصرين أو تلخصين النقاط.
Yeah, again, as I mentioned, partnerships very important. We have a partnership with UNICEF, again, focused on awareness. When it comes to people with disabilities, working more on upskilling them, providing stories about positive success stories, so people are inspired more and able to, have the confidence to come in and join our programs. Ahl al Himma I mentioned, and this is more on engaging with employees, and whatever we do externally, we are doing internally as well, because at the end of the day, we believe that whatever happens needs to be reflected on the outside to be, a genuine provider of these services. Because at the end of the day, consumers, when they want to choose a product, they want to be choosing a company that is responsible, that has a vision when it comes to SDGs and is working towards achieving them. And I'm sorry if, I took too much of your time.
Thank you very much. شكرا أستاذة رشا. لأن الوقت محدود ممكن ناخذ بس سؤال أو سؤالين كحد أقصى أستاذة رشا.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rasha, for the thorough presentation and for sharing the impressive initiatives by your company. Like you kindly explained thoroughly how the private sector can be an actor in achieving and advancing the achievement of the SDGs by using the financial resources, technological resources. But like, how do you see the private sector as a resistance actor in terms of resisting some interventions because of the high cost, or because of the
high cost?
Yeah, and you're reducing the profit, the conflict with your interest. Can you
exactly, because at the end of
this?
the day, it would, whatever kind of initiatives that you're doing, especially when you're looking at climate change, for example, it will, have a cost element. And I believe that some of these will be implemented on a global level, the rules, the regulations that are, creating the right ecosystem for us to be able to work within. There will be, I think, within the next 3 to 4 years, we will see changes done where certain taxes are forced, and this is what's being talked about in different sustainability forums, right? So companies will have to pay certain taxes because of the emissions, for example, or the consumptions of natural resources, etc. So unfortunately, for big organizations, if they're not changing, they will be forced to change within the next few years. So they might as well just start doing it now and just start accommodating it now. And I believe working with entrepreneurs and with social entrepreneurs specifically, and giving them certain challenges that companies are facing, especially when it comes to items such as cost, will help, come up with ideas that maybe the companies and the private sector have not thought of. And this is where the startup community comes in, supporting them as well, in order for them to be the innovative eye for the private sector. It could happen that way. So there are different solutions. One should be just given to them as a direction, or taxes, or whatever it is, to enforce that change. Or at the end of the day, you can, as a private sector company, come in and say, I want to change. How can you help me? And this is where partnerships can come in. This is where working with entrepreneurs and, the ecosystem can come in. There are different ways to handle it, I think. But it's very important to be open about it and accepting. And this is where change management comes in, which is another layer. So it's a pretty complex ecosystem, but I think it is doable.
شكرا أستاذة رشا. نعتذر عن استقبال مزيد من الأسئلة.
No, it's okay. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I took so much time going on, and thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
No problem. There are questions online. Okay, but I don't think we have enough time to receive more questions. I think we will move to Professor أحمد خليفة. هو أستاذ كلية الاقتصاد بجامعة قطر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Ladies and gentlemen, سيادة الدكتورة كالسوم الغانم, thank you very much for the invitation. In fact, we will try to wake up and engage some important